They never elected him. He never stood behind a presidential podium. He never asked ordinary Americans for their votes. Yet somehow, his influence reached deeper into American life than many presidents ever could. Millions knew his name. Billions used products connected to his empire. Politicians visited him. Journalists quoted him. Universities welcomed him. And entire industries adjusted themselves according to his decisions. But power in America has always come with an important question. Who is really in control, the people, the government, or the individuals wealthy enough to shape both? Tonight, we explore a story that is bigger than one man, because this isn't simply the story of a billionaire. It is the story of influence, the story of narratives, the story of modern power, and perhaps, the story of how America learned that control doesn't always arrive through force. Sometimes, it arrives through admiration, sometimes through technology, sometimes through philanthropy, and sometimes, through ideas that people willingly embrace without ever questioning where those ideas came from. This documentary begins with a mystery. How does one human being accumulate enough influence to alter conversations occurring in millions of homes? How do private fortunes become public power, and at what point does extraordinary success transform into something much larger? To understand that, we must travel back to the beginning, back before skyscrapers, before billion-dollar corporations, before social media, before 24-hour news cycles, to a simple truth about human civilization. Human beings have always organized themselves around storytellers. Kings ruled with stories. Religions spread through stories. Nations were built upon stories. And the individuals capable of controlling those stories often controlled history itself. But in modern America, storytelling evolved. Newspapers became empires. Radio entered every household. Television united millions beneath shared narratives. And eventually, the internet connected nearly every human thought into one enormous machine. For the first time in history, information itself became the most valuable resource on earth. Not gold, not oil, not land. Attention, human attention. And whoever mastered attention could influence everything else. Politics, culture, consumer behavior, beliefs, fear, hope, dreams, entire generations. The billionaire at the center of our story understood this principle earlier than most. While others chased money, he chased ecosystems. While competitors fought over products, he focused on platforms. While governments operated within election cycles, he thought in decades. That difference changed everything, because real influence isn't measured by quarterly profits. It is measured by permanence. Can your ideas survive after you leave the room? Can your institutions continue shaping society without your direct involvement? Can millions voluntarily participate in systems you helped create? If the answer is yes, then power becomes something far more significant than wealth. And America has witnessed this transformation many times before. Industrial tycoons built railroads. Media moguls shaped public discourse. Technology leaders redesigned daily existence. Each generation produced individuals whose private decisions created public consequences. Sometimes those consequences brought innovation, sometimes prosperity, sometimes danger, and often, all three at once. But our modern age introduced something entirely new: the ability to influence millions instantly, without geographical limitations, without traditional gatekeepers, without waiting. Never before had one individual possessed tools capable of reaching so deeply into everyday life. Morning routines, news consumption, entertainment, education, political engagement, relationships, work, identity itself. The boundaries separating public institutions and private corporations began to blur, and many Americans never noticed, because change rarely announces itself dramatically. It arrives gradually, one convenience at a time, one technological improvement at a time, one platform at a time, until eventually, the systems become invisible. And invisible systems are often the most powerful, because people rarely question environments they consider normal. The billionaire understood this. He understood that shaping infrastructure means shaping behavior, not through coercion, but through design. Offer people faster communication, they adopt it. Offer greater convenience, they embrace it. Offer personalized experiences, they become dependent upon it. And with each adoption, influence expands, not because anyone demanded obedience, but because participation felt voluntary. That distinction matters, because history teaches us something uncomfortable. Human beings often surrender autonomy not through force, but through comfort. And the greatest forms of influence are those that people celebrate while experiencing them. Which brings us back to our central question: was this billionaire manipulating America, or merely giving Americans what they already wanted? stated the answer depends entirely on how we define manipulation itself. Is influence manipulation? Is persuasion manipulation? Are incentives manipulation? Or does manipulation begin only when transparency disappears? These questions become increasingly important in a society where algorithms determine attention, where information arrives filtered, where recommendation systems guide curiosity, where narratives spread faster than facts, and where enormous fortunes possess resources rivaling governments. Some believe billionaires represent innovation, proof that free markets reward excellence. Others argue concentrated wealth inevitably threatens democratic institutions. Most Americans exist somewhere between these extremes, grateful for technological progress, concerned about unchecked influence, unsure where admiration should end and skepticism should begin. Tonight, we examine that uncertainty, not through conspiracy, not through sensationalism, but through history, economics, psychology, and one fundamental reality: power changes societies, always has, always will. The only question is whether societies recognize those changes while they are happening, or only after history has already been written. And if history teaches anything, it is that the most powerful forces are rarely obvious in their own time. They become clear only in retrospect, when patterns emerge, when consequences reveal themselves, when ordinary events suddenly connect into larger stories. Perhaps that is where our investigation truly begins, not with one billionaire, but with America itself, a nation built upon freedom, individualism, innovation, and an enduring belief that anyone can rise to extraordinary heights, a nation that celebrates success, yet simultaneously fears concentrated power, a paradox existing since the country's founding, and one that remains unresolved today, because the billionaire who manipulated America may not have manipulated America alone. He may simply have understood America better than everyone else. End of part 1. The next part would begin.